Welcome to part number 9. So in this part, we're going to make water puddles. And these water puddles appear because the roof of the factory is leaking and filling the ground with water. So making water puddles is using a reflective material, and you blend this on your concrete texture. But if we look at the water, on the border is getting dry. So we have to make a sort of transition to make it realistic. That's what we're going to do in part 9. So let's get started adding some water in the factory.
And welcome to part 9 of the factory construction course. In the previous part, we worked on the doors, the smaller one and the big one. And if we hit render, we can see that it all works shiny. Yeah. And my CPU is enabled, but just to give you a preview, it's all working fine. So I'm closing this window. I like to enable GPU and also increasing the noise threshold to 0.03. That will increase the render speed and lower the max samples to 2048. That will speed up rendering. So what we're going to do in this part is improving the material. So currently, we have to load the textures. It's all look very clean. And I like to start with improving the plates in the concrete by adding some water puddles. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Can talk a lot, but let's go in action. So we select the floor, and we go to plates, floor. Yeah, we saw that. Go to shading, and it's snapping to these objects. And because we already added these, we're going to delete them. Don't longer need them. And we just hide this tab so we have a large viewport. And yeah, so here we have the node setup. We have an albedo, roughness, and normal. So currently, let's make a render so we can see the before and after, F12. So we have to wait. And it's going rapidly fast because we made these changes. And we're putting this in slot number 1. And every time we render, we just change. So we now go 2. So if we render it, just putting it right here. So you can compare. So how does it work? Material preview. I want to make this very reflective on the puddles, but in a realistic way. So I will show you what I mean. So to show you, we have metallic. If you make this solid 1 and turn off the roughness and make this 0, you have reflection. And if you turn off the normal, it's like butter smooth. But we want this in just some of the areas in a realistic way. So we have to do some mixing. That's fun. Mixing materials is like the coolest thing in Blender. Just turn it back to 0. So how do we approach such thing? So we want to have some puddles here and there, not one very big one, but also on the other side. So what I like to do is using a noise texture, because this node or this texture gives us this possibility to create that pattern. So we go to add texture and noise texture. And because this is a color image, you cannot really make a mask. We want to have a mask between normal plates and water. So I also want to have a color ramp. It's a very powerful node. I'm putting the factor right there. So to give you a sort of idea how that looks, Control Shift left click. And if you put these together like this, and if we bring these closer together, like I want to have small puddles. This is like a very big one. Okay, let's start with this. So now we can use this as a mask. So to combine that with the metallic, we add a color mix node, mix color. So we use this in the factor. So now we have a black and white mask. And we turn this into black and the bottom into white. If we put this in metallic and we just turn this back to normal, we can see that it's exactly flipped. So if we just flip this one, like so. Okay, cool. Then it should work. So the dark areas will be puddles, and the other side, the white, is just representing. It needs to be full white, it's very important. Otherwise it's still sort of mix. But it's not reflective. So we go to the roughness, because I demonstrated that if you put this out, you get the reflection. So we will duplicate this, putting it right there, putting the mask inside the factor. And it should be solid black, exactly. Solid black. We get closer and it starts to look like water puddles, but we can see the effect of the normal map. It's not really what we want, and it looks like the way to smooth. I mean, it's a little bit fake. So let's focus on the scale first. So if you make this lower, like you get very big ones, and like a tiny, you get smaller ones. So something between these values. That's something 7 or let's say 8. Yeah, well, it's not that bad, but it's like curvy, and I want to have a more realistic effect. So you have to increase the detail. So we're making this something like 7. And this should work. You can do the roughness as well, but that's like too much fun. Okay, so we have still the problem with the normal map, just making issues. So to take care of that, we also put a mix node right there. And we want to have the mask here. And make this blue, because that's like the normal map. If I'm right. Yeah, I think we should pick a blue color. And now the water puddle starts to look realistic. So this is the material preview, that's also a little bit wicked. But if we hit, maybe we just want to have some more wetness around, like so. I kind of like that effect. And we hit F12. Wondering what we get. That looks super cool. So we have some water puddles here in the factory, and the light is casting on it. So that's great. But there is a problem, or something what makes it a bit more offense, is that we have like these iron beams going here, and it has no effect. There should be some effect visible from these plates if there's water, but it's like one big puddle there. So I like to add a heat map and try to put this into the mask to have a little bit of influence in it, and that will really make it final. So we copy the normal map, we duplicate this, and we go for concrete plates displacement, non-color. And I want to add a color ramp. There we go. Oh, that happens way too much. I think they changed that. I cannot do that anymore. Color ramp. And we're putting it right here. And we're going to use a mix shader. Add color, mix color. And we're putting this one right here and that one on top. So like this. This could be solid black. And now we have a new mask. So just keeping these values. And this way you include a heat map from the displacement, and that will have influence as soon as we start combining it. So we have to replace them all of it. And for the roughness and the normal map, here we go. So maybe you think, what happened with our beautiful work? Well, we have to find a new balance. It will be all right. So there we go. There it's back. But now with a little bit of influence, you can see from the heat map. Maybe it's small, but there is some influence. A tiny detail, but for me, it's very it's a big thing. So you can make the puddles a bit bigger. So you have 2 sliders, like so. But this is like perfect. Let's make a new render, F12. And I had to change the slot. So we could compare this with the old situation. But yeah, this is what it is. I can see some influence already right there. So that's really good. So now an explanation. So if you move this one, you have more wetness around the water. So that's like how you like it. And this slider has control on the heat map. So that's pretty much it. So it's a bit weird that there is no water on the other side. So what we're gonna do is, and we need to just make it itself simple. So this is the metallic, the roughness, and the normal map. So we're copy everything. And we do copy, material tab, concrete floor, and we paste it like this. And we bring these to the rear. So now, because this is concrete floor, we have a different displacement. Concrete plates and concrete, it's not there. Oh. So we have to look, concrete, floor stripes, displacement, non-color. If you don't change that, it will use the other displacement map. So we will organize this more and more as soon as we get finished with this. So the top one is the metallic. Change the size. I'm moving. I'm really scared it's just snapping to something. So the metallic. Then, because that one has no input, this is the roughness, goes on top into the roughness right there. And this is the normal map, goes right here on top into the normal map. And we have water on the other side. That was really easy. It was just sort of copy paste, and here we go. So in rendering, we can now go to number 3 and shading. I had to do this before. And I want to add one more thing. Let's add a mapping node and texture coordinates. Yeah. We use a generated, putting it right there, and we can put this. Where should we put this? Right here. And then we can change the location. So that's nice. That's nice. Duplicating it, Control C, and plates floor, because we want to have this control on the bottom as well. So the location can be changed. Yeah. So whatever you like. Okay. So you have to play with these values. You're now in full control. I like to make a render to see how it all looks like. Maybe we have to tweak it a bit more, but I don't know. Maybe for this concrete floor, we want a little bit more wetness around the water puddles. Yeah. Let's go for a render, F12. It's very wet in this factory. Like this. Okay. Nice. We're finished with the water puddles. That was a big one. And in the next part, we're taking care of dirt on the wall. So currently it's all white, and I like to mix it with another material until we're going to paint with some vertex paint on the wall. And therefore we had to do the remeshing If you didn't remesh, it was not possible. So it's the end of this lecture, or this part. I'm still calling this lectures. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.